What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Gridiron, your Apollo HOU Houston Texans podcast. My name's Noah Outlaw. I'm one of your hosts, as always. And as always, I'm here with Garrett Harrelson. What's up, brother?
What's going on, my man? I have something to say to you. Let's start this episode right. I have something to say to you.
Okay.
Fuck the Jaguars, but I hope they're doing okay because of the storm.
Fuck the Jags. Yes, I hope the state of Florida is doing great right now.
Yes, our hearts are with the state of Florida. That is not a joke.
Yeah.
Storm. I forgot what it's called. The hurricane hit.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone's okay. So start the episode right with that.
Yeah, the hurricane it's doing a number down there, and I hope everyone is getting through. And our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone going through that at the moment. But sadly, I hope their football team loses this week.
Need the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, need the Jacksonville Jaguars to lose big time. And they should, theoretically. The 0-3 Jacksonville Jaguars are playing our 2-1 Houston Texans. Really wish we were saying 3-0 Houston Texans, but alas, we're saying 2-1. It's a divisional matchup. The Jags and Texans, obviously a rivalry, I guess, that goes back pretty far, but I wouldn't.
Divisional rivalry.
Divisional rivalry, yeah. But overall, the Texans pretty much own the Jaguars.
Yeah, no, I've said it before. I'll continue to say it. I have no respect for the Jaguars franchise. No matter how much hype they get, no matter what, they will always just be the Jaguars. They're the Browns of the AFC South. Maybe, I don't know. Actually, there's a few teams that could.
There's a few Browns in the AFC South, yeah.
Even including us a few years ago. I thought maybe we were the Browns, the Detroit Lions. But I don't have respect for them. We do own them. We do very well against them. Mm-hmm. And right now, we don't even have – I mean, we're not even owning them. Everything in life and in the universe is owning on them right now.
Yeah.
Everything is sunning on them right now. They do not look good.
Dude, they look terrible. Like
they look bad.
It's really crazy. And I think Doug Peterson is really in the running here to lose his job before week 6. I mean –
man. Oh my God! Like going 0-4 is perfect grounds to get fired.
Absolutely.
That's
especially
more than
with the talent that they have. And look, I mean, I know that there's a lot of people question Trevor's ability, which we'll get into in just a second. But at the end of the day, they got some players on the team. Like, they got Travis Etienne. Christian Kirk's not a bad player. Gabe Davis isn't the worst. Like, they got some guys. Like, Tank Bigsby is a solid player. Like, they have the tools. Trayvon Walker's there on the defensive side of the ball. They got some guys, but they just can't put it together. And now I think all this starts with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is a guy who, look, we've had some conversations about Trevor Lawrence, and there was one specifically last season, I believe, or maybe it was last season or maybe before last season, where I was talking about Trevor Lawrence being an Andrew Luck caliber player. And coming out of college, that is the hype he was getting. So far this season, I am eating every single one of my words. He is awful. He leads the league in turnovers since 2021. Leads the league.
Yeah, I mean he is Florida Danny Dimes. He is Florida Daniel Jones. Yeah. The media won't let you know that because he is one of the highest paid NFL players of all time.
It's crazy.
How crazy does that sound? Just recently made one of the highest paid players in NFL history. And the liberal media will not tell you that. Well, now they will because I mean they're 0-3 and it's clear that there's trouble there in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
The media has always been, T-Law doesn't get help. What? He is just a special generational talent that is just getting robbed, dude, getting robbed. And I've always been like, no, he's got a great arm. If he did go to another team, maybe he would be good. But I always knew he would fail the Jaguars and the Jaguars would fail him. You said, and we're not going to go backward because we're in the same team here. We're co-hosts.
Yeah.
We're the same podcast. You did say he was top 3 in the league. And I thought that was absolutely ludicrous. I didn't even know he was top 10 at that point, really. And then
did I really say top 3?
You did say top 3 because Well, maybe you said he's going to be top 3 before last season.
I don't think I said at the moment, at any moment, but I said he can be or maybe will be.
I think you said he will be top 3, and I thought I will love this. I don't want to see it, but I would fucking love to see that because that's a miracle, and miracles are a beautiful thing to see. A miracle didn't happen. In fact, he's just hasn't won a game since last November.
Yeah, he is on the craziest dry streak. And like you mentioned, just signing that mega contract for the Jags, which I know I understand quarterbacks are, hard to come by. And the Texans, we're sitting here extremely lucky. We're looking at what's going on in Carolina with Bryce, and we're sitting here and we just hit the jackpot on quarterbacks now. So I understand they're hard to come by, and I understand when you think you may have your guy, you want to give him money, and the quarterback market is what it is. But man, I'm watching that Bills game last week and watching Trevor in that game. It was just bad football. His interception to Damar Hamlin was genuinely one of the worst things I've ever seen a quarterback do. And that's saying something.
Absolutely cooked. Absolutely cooked. Because Trevor Lawrence does make great throws time to time. They might be incomplete because last year Calvin Ridley dropped 1 million of them. I remember one pass. I think it was a touchdown pass of week 1 against the Dolphins to Brian Thomas Jr.
Yep.
He caught it in the back of the end zone. It's an amazing throw, an amazing catch. And I'm like, he can make those kind of throws. He's got the kind of arm, but he does lack decision making. Does lack confidence in his decision making, and that's how he looks feeble in the pocket a lot, running around too. That's when he'll huck it up and overthrow guys that are wide open and just give up turnovers. Mm-hmm. And I will attribute it to the franchise itself because he's got the flashes going and they just have failed him, but he's also failed them because now he is being paid that much money. And you just can't be. I mean, if you're the guy, you're the guy. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? 0-3, about to be maybe 0-4, and you're one of the highest paid players in the NFL in history. And so there's just this relationship is bound to end soon. But they're going to blame it on Doug Peterson and Doug Peterson.
Yeah, Doug Peterson's going to be fired. Yeah.
He will be fired.
Yeah, and also, he should be too. Doug has been terrible. Doug deserves a lot of the blame for this 0-3. He's a bad fucking coach at the end of the day, and he's a Super Bowl winning head coach, and he should hang his hat on that, and he should ride off into the sunset. Now, this Jacksonville stint is really doing damage to his legacy, and Trevor Lawrence, but also Trevor Lawrence is Blake Bortles again. That's what it is. They just have another Blake Bortles, but they just decided to pay him $260 goddamn million, whatever he got.
Yeah, I remember when they did pay Blake Bortles too, because Blake Bortles had some pretty big seasons, honestly.
Yeah, he did.
And then right after taking them to the AFC Championship game, in which he had a pretty solid season, he just really had a great run game and a great defense as well.
Yeah,
they gave him a little contract. They gave him 3 years, 80-something million, which. Around that time, it was a different time, obviously. It was close to 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They were instead, I would have just given Trevor Lawrence a 2-year deal, not a 4, basically super max deal.
But that's what he was demanding. You know what I mean?
That's what he was demanding. But at that point, you just have to stand your ground, Jacksonville, and say, no, you haven't performed that well for us.
Yeah.
Why do we give you the money? Why would it give you the money that you to say that you've been performing at that level when you haven't? Stand your ground. Let the quarterbacks walk. You're going to be bad again. You're going to maybe have an Archie Manning in a few years.
Right.
Just stand your ground. Don't pay the fucking guy.
Yeah.
But alas, we are here, and they have a bunch of bad players on their team as well. Their front seven is pretty solid with Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen. They're both great. Their corners, safeties. I can't name one of them right now. I was watching them on Monday night, which that Monday night, we'll talk about it briefly here in a second. I just was like, who is that? Who's that?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that person. I've never heard of these guys.
Yeah.
What? So,
now the most Jacksonville Jaguars thing ever is taking Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
That's just hilarious. Why did they
Yeah, I
God,
mean,
they're
that is. I mean, not to say Trayvon Walker's a bad player. He's actually pretty good. But
yeah, but
Aiden Hutchinson
Hutchinson.
in week two, Aiden Hutchinson had 5 sacks. Okay,
Yeah,
so, like, that's the kind of player you get with Aiden Hutchinson.
He's a front runner for Defensive Player of the Year this year, and Trayvon Walker hasn't sniffed those kind of accolades, not yet in his career, and I don't think he will.
We'll see if he does.
God, I hate the Jaguars. I hate bad football, man. I hate bad front office work.
You know what makes it worse too? They think they fucking own us. They're
Jacksonville Jaguars fans, which are they're probably going to find this video. You know,
I hope they do.
I hope they've enjoyed this first 11 minutes almost of this podcast, where all we've done is call their franchise a dog shit piece of shit stain on society.
I just looked up at the time and I'm like, wow, we've been going for 11 minutes already. We haven't even talked about the Texans. We've just been talking about how bad the Jaguars are. But hey, this is a divisional rival, baby. We can talk your shit.
No, we gotta air it out. We gotta air it out. Yeah.
There are Jaguars fans posting CJ's stat line like through the third quarter last week, saying like, what's that smell and shit. And I'm like, wow, a week before we're going to play y'all and you're going to be posting that. And then they played the next night.
Yeah.
And got fucking whooped, dude. So it just they deserve to get railed. They deserve to get railed.
Yeah.
Until they start making some big boy decisions like the Texans have in the past few seasons, they're going to get railed. They're going to continue to be railed. Firings, benchings. Who knows? Who's to say that Mac Jones won't find time this year? You know, who's to say? So we'll see. But we'll just get into the Texans now.
Hey, who's to say Mac Jones doesn't get play time this year?
I mean, they seem to like him.
They sure do. Jaguars fans seem to like him as well. But the Texans come into this game as a 6-point favorite. That's a pretty big spread. Obviously, is what it should be for the Texans, who are bona fide at the minimum top 10 team in the league, most likely a top 5 team in the league, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I think were sitting at 30 in most people's power rankings, out of 32 teams. By the way, I don't know if you know that, but at 30 out of 32 teams. And 32 was the Tennessee Titans. And we'll talk about that here later whenever we have to play them. But yes, so the Texans are going into a game, and I look, I think must wins early in the season are kind of weird, but I see this as a must win for a lot of reasons. I think morale's low, and I think the Jags are a really bad team in our division that we need to handle very easily. And I think if we don't handle them easily, there's just going to be a lot more question marks around this team than I'd like to see.
Yeah. If we were talking about it, like, hey, the Vikings are great. We walked right into the snake pit. We got bit. Sure, it happens. You get blown out early in the season. Shit like that happens, dude. This game is the perfect get right game for the Texans after getting blown out. And we were talking about it. If they have problems this game, even if we had a win, even if we get the W, and we have problems and make it closer than it needs to be and shoot ourselves in the foot, multiple times throughout the game, we need to have serious talks about like, hey, let's take a step back from Super Bowl conversation, because almost through a month of football, people are playing us close.
Yeah.
That teams that are not very good, Bears, the Colts, and now the Jaguars, if they play as good, if these teams are playing as well, man, there's got to be some adjustments to be made.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even, and then obviously included in that conversation is the Minnesota Vikings, who we don't know where they're going to be, 14 weeks from now, but it's looking incredible. But also that's a team that could fall off too. And later at the end of the year, if things aren't if they're not as hot as they are in the first 3 weeks of the season, people are going to look at that Minnesota L and be like, what the fuck were they doing there? And that really is that Minnesota game is looking like a really big stain on this team's kind of legacy. Like, it really,
maybe their legacy this season, not their.
That's what I mean. This team this year, not this team in general, but I'm talking about this season. But with all the hype, I mean, 34-7 is really hard to look at. So, I mean, we really need to flip the script on the Jaguars this week, and we need to do what the Bills did to them on Monday Night Football. And I need C.J. Stroud in the offense to come out clicking on all fucking cylinders.
Yeah, and speaking of offense, we'll jump into our first X factor of the game. Our first non-player X factor of the season, OC Bobby Slowick. But Bobby Slowick got cooked by Jonathan Grenard last week. Not even mentally and through verbal words, but like just physically. Got had 3 sacks, kept lining up Cade Stover on him. Jonathan Grenard made his thoughts pretty clear on that. He said, "That's bullshit and that's disrespect. I'm going to wreck you. I'm going to wreck you really hard this game." Had 3 sacks, recorded 3 sacks, talked his shit all week long. I tell you what, buddy, he kept running his mouth, and I was like, "Oh, we like you, Johnny. I don't know, we like you, man. I don't know why you're like saying like you didn't have it good here in Houston. Like last year, we all loved you." Yeah. So I mean, maybe it's because we didn't offer him a contract in the offseason.
We didn't offer him at all.
Some players take that as disrespect, but it seems like you have it made in Minnesota. So you're welcome, Jonathan Grenard. But Bobby Slowick needs to make the adjustments possible to just make it a clean football game. No sacks, no turnovers. Don't even force the deep ball or anything like that. Let's methodically get through this Jaguars defense. Not like let's have time of possession. Let's run the ball. Let's run the ball more importantly. We did not do that very well against Minnesota. Bobby Slowick needs to make the necessary adjustments to put at least 20 points on this Jaguars team. If we anything other than 20 points, I'd consider it a failure this week.
I do too. I would say maybe under 24 points is a little bit of a failure, but yes, absolutely. Bobby really needs to cook up. And here's the deal. I hope on the first practice on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever it was, I hope they spent 3 hours on figuring out where to fucking line up on the offensive line.
Jesus.
I hope so. Please.
I hope so.
I hope all of practice was how to avoid illegal formation penalties, because Jesus H. Christ. And I hope Laramie Tunsil was front and center. And I don't want him. Look, I love Laramie, and he's got a lot of shit this week for his performance in Minnesota. I love Laramie, but Laramie can be a little bit of a diva. And look, it comes with it. It comes with the money. It comes with the fame. It comes with the acclaim. It happens.
I ain't got no problem with divas.
I have no
problem with you being a diva.
I've had our fair share. Hey, DeAndre Hopkins
play like one.
Just don't play like one when he was in Houston. DeAndre Hopkins was being a little bit of a diva at times.
But he's played hard.
But he was
top 3 receiver every season with us.
Exactly. So I want Laramie Laramie's got to dial in. And he's another one of our X factors this week is Laramie Tunsil just figuring it out. And just not look, we lost that game. I'm not going to say because of Laramie Tunsil, but he had a huge role in that. He brought back a lot of offensive chunk yard plays. Like he really did. And so
you look at it, he probably himself gave up or negated. Let me start over. Brought the offense back at least 50 yards. At least 50 yards with his penalties. Yeah, he had 3 in one drive. That's like 20 yards right there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe about 50 might be hyperbolic, but I mean,
I don't think so. I think it's more than that. If I went back and looked, I think if we're talking about like at the baseline minimum penalty yardage plus plays that got brought back, chunk plays that got brought back because of him, absolutely it's over 50.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, no, I mean for sure. So and Laramie, which is our next X factor, because there's nothing better than a get right situation. This is the perfect get right game for the boys and perfect get right game for Laramie. Flip the script, allow no sacks, allow no pressures, no penalties, and then no one will remember week 3.
Yeah. No,
let's flip the script. No, and then that goes with everyone really. As soon as you flip the script, dominate this game as you should, because the Jaguars are not good, and if you are a AFC big dog like the Bills are, then you should blow them out. No one will even be talking about week 3. We're going into week 5, going like, holy shit, we got a big game against the Bills, man. Let's go. So it's absolutely get right for Laramie get right game for Laramie Tunsil, and he was apparently front and center for those meetings throughout the week. So I have faith that he'll flip the script.
I do too. Yeah. And I have faith that Tunsil and Slowick will both flip the switch. And look, also at the end of the day, we're not facing a Brian Flores defense again. And that Minnesota defense is insane.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, I'm not super worried about it. Like, I'm not worried about the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. I'm really not. I'm just worried about us shooting ourselves in the foot with our own issues. And that's really where it comes in. That's where Slowick and Tunsil kind of go hand in hand as X factors. And let's get into our third X factor, which I believe we used him last week, but Cam Akers. Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce are both out once again. Obviously, Cam Akers, he had a few plays last week that looked good. He had that where he just kept hitting the spin button. He had 3 little spins. It was fun to watch, but overall, not a productive day at all on the ground for Cam Akers or the run game in general. Yeah,
and that really isn't on him. It was just oh shit, look at the score. We cannot run the ball right now. Let's try to run the ball. Okay, I got stuffed up the line. Okay, we're gonna have to throw the ball. Yeah. It was one of those situations, but as soon as we establish the run versus the Jaguars, then that's when CJ will be able to air it out to whoever is going to be playing. I don't even know if Nico and Tank are going to be playing. Nico got added to the injury report yesterday.
Yeah.
With a hamstring, not good. I mean, and the fact that he got added in the middle of the week, not great. So, after that, you're going to have to utilize intermediate passes with Stephon and some of your tight ends. Schultz, let's go pick it up.
Who is also on the injury report, by the way. But
yeah, it seems like we're pretty banged up right now. But Cam, as soon as you get your touches, no pressure. This team sucks. The Jaguars, that is. I hope we just give the ball to him and we make the run game fearsome. I want the run game to be feared this game.
Yeah, me too. And Cam does have the ability, man. I mean, we've seen him make some fucking plays. And so if he can just kind of get in his zone and face a defense like the Jaguars, who are not good, let's just be blunt. They don't have a good defense.
I mean, allowing 47 points is not good. So
no, and they're gonna have to put a lot of the focus, and especially if Nico plays, which fucking fingers crossed. But Nico's a big dog. I'm really not worried. I think he's gonna play.
I think maybe that was precautionary. Him on. Maybe he was sore.
He practiced most of the week. He was limited one day, and we'll see what happens today. The injury report, I don't believe it's come out yet today.
Yeah, time of recording, it's 11:17.
I'll pull up the Texans Twitter right now. But here's the thing: they're gonna have a lot to focus on with CJ Stroud, obviously slinging the rock. So that does open up really a big opportunity for Cam to get some yards.
Yes, and we've seen the numbers of CJ Stroud versus AFC South opponents. He rocks their worlds every time he plays them. So this game should be no different. CJ had maybe his worst game as a pro, aside from the Jets game, which I don't even count that fucking game from last season. But maybe his worst game as a pro against the Vikings. So just go do what you do against the AFC South and rule them. Yeah, just rock their worlds again. Yeah.
CJ, we know CJ after a game like that, his worst game, like you mentioned, worst game in the pros, 2 interceptions. We know he's going to bounce back. We know he's been in the lab. He doesn't like that feeling, and he's ready to go. He's ready to go.
Yeah, no, for sure. I actually, I had a dream. I had a dream about, and CJ was in my dream. I think it was 2 nights ago, actually. I had a dream that John Mechie played. And he caught a touchdown over the middle.
Wow.
CJ was in the pocket, about a 20-yard laser. Well, it was on the 15-yard line, but he was back on the 20. He was a shotgun. He was dancing around up the middle. Just fired one, and then just right there it was John Mechie kind of crossing over in the middle. Just caught it perfect. Nice.
Are you making a prediction?
My dreams always come true. My dreams always they predict the future. So yes, John Mechie will play. John Mechie will play in place of Tank Dell, and he will catch a touchdown against the Jaguars. Maybe it's not that exact play. Maybe it was a little fuzzy, but John Mechie will play, and C.J. Stroud will throw a touchdown to him.
Are you claiming to be a medium or fortune teller of some sort?
In of sorts, yes. Of sorts, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe I can't predict world-changing events, world news, or anything like that, but I can predict small things that matter to me.
But you can predict like moments in the Texans games.
Yes,
that's much more important than predicting the next like terrorist attack or something. That's
yeah, I know. Like this prediction won't affect anyone
right
in NATO or anything like that. They're not going to care, but this community does care, and this is world changing for this community because everyone loves John Mechie, everyone loves CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
that happens. I am the hero of the Texans.
That's community. True. That's absolutely.
People be asking me like, "Hey, did you dream? What's going on with the Bills game? Did you dream about that? Did you dream? Did Josh Allen throw 4 interceptions?" I'm gonna be like, in time. Just okay. All right, that's fine. That's enough. Stop asking me.
That's gonna be a scary game.
Yeah, that's next week though. That's next week. We got this is our get right game.
Yeah.
Our 3 X factors are gonna show up.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I just, man, I really don't want this game to start out. This is my biggest fear with this game. It starts off, right before we maybe have a drink in front of you, Noah. Hopefully at Big City Wings. Shout out to Big City Wings.
Yeah.
Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. Go watch the game there. They have great service, great beer, great appetizers. I was there last week at our watch party. Their onion rings are phenomenal. Their Chipotle ranch is phenomenal. So go to Big City Wings and watch the game. Thank you, Big City Wings, for sponsoring this episode. I just don't want to be sitting there with my drink ready. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm feeling it. I'm good. I got the juices flowing. I'm feeling great about this game. Immediately, like the Jaguars get the ball, they receive. I'm like, let's make a stop. Third downs, they just keep converting them on some bullshit. It's like, okay, all right. And then they score a touchdown, and it's like, we shouldn't have let that happen. But so first drive of the game, things change.
And it just keeps happening.
And then we get the ball and then a quick 3 and out or something. And I'm like, all right, if that is my biggest fear how this game starts.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. That's kind of similar to how the Vikings game started off way worse.
Oh, it was a nightmare from the
Vikings game.
Nightmare. It was like a saw trap the whole time. It was like, it's just immediately the first drive. I was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
And after the interception, I was like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah, it was really rough.
And then throwing that touchdown, I was like, all right, I don't know about this. Like,
it was just bad vibes from the start. But this game is going to have good vibes. We're manifesting it. Good vibes from the start. Touchdown on the first Texans drive. 3 and out on the first Jaguars drive. That's what's going to happen. I'm predicting it now. Garrett, let me get your score prediction for Texans Jaguars.
My score prediction. Well, I already predicted the John Mechie touchdown. That will happen.
Right.
Man. I went real lofty with the win. I am predicting a win. I predicted a close win last week. I think maybe this one will be closer than we want it to be, unfortunately, but not very close. I think we cover. So right. I'm gonna say Texans 27, Jaguars 16.
16, okay.
Yeah, Texans 27, Jaguars 16.
All right.
We beat them by 11. That's considered a blowout in my opinion. And maybe they scored a garbage time touchdown. I don't know. So that's what I got.
Let's see. I'm going to say the final score to this game is Texans 38, Jaguars 13.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah. I think we manhandle these boys. Yeah, I do.
I hope we do, man. I hope we do. Because, as soon as you do, then you're 3-1. You just blew out an AFC opponent, an AFC South opponent. And you're going into Buffalo, or you're going into Buffalo week. High, like head held high, feeling good, feeling ready to go, man. So blowout would boost our confidence right before we play the Bills.
Yeah, we really need it. We need it.
Yeah,
it's our
get right game, man.
Get right game. What's it called? The longest yard? What does he call it?
What'd you say?
In longest yard, what is it?
A tune-up game.
Tune-up game, yeah. Tune-up game. Yeah,
we're paying. We're paying the Jaguars to come play us.
Yeah, we're paying them. We're
game.
doing a UNC where we're going to pay whoever $500,000 to come play us and then get our ass kicked.
Yeah, it's like when like USC pays like Lady of the Lake like $1 million to come get blown out.
Yeah. All right. Okay. 38-13. Yours is what? Yours is what?
27-16.
27-16. All right. Keep those in mind. Write those down. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know you like what we're doing. Comment down below your predictions for this game. I'm talking final score, touchdown scores, passing yards for Stroud, interceptions for T-Law. We want it all down in the comments below. And follow us on Twitter at Apollo HOU and Apollo Texans to make sure you're keeping up to date with the Texans, obviously, and all of Houston sports. MLB playoffs starting soon. Obviously, the Texan season has just begun. A lot of excitement going on in the city right now, right, Garrett?
It's all good. It's all good, buddy. It's all good here. You know, Texans are good. Astros are good. Maybe the Rockets will be good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Houston sports is coming back. Houston sports are coming back.
Yep. Give one more shout out to Big City Wings for us.
Yeah, so if you don't know about it, you should by now. Big City Wings is Houston's wing joint, Apollo's wing joint. They're great. We love Big City Wings over here. The food is fantastic. The service is always great. Go to the marquee location if you want to have a big NFL Sunday. All the TVs. It's a great ball watching environment. And what else could you ask for in a wing place? So go on over to Big City Wings. Tell them Apollo sent you. Have a time. So once again, thank you and shout out to Big City Wings.
Thanks, Big City Wings, so much. We appreciate it. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later.
Go Texans. Watch Texans.
Back in my bag and I got